onto the next game. Surprising that this studio, Rocksteady, would actually want to do, but it's the Suicide Squad Kill to Justice League. When they showed that first teaser, when they showed that first trailer, people will say, you know, it is cinematic, so I don't know how to feel. And this was back when DC fandom. I kind of felt like this cinematic trailer hooked me more than the Gotham Knights one, just because
it's more bold,
artistic.
Yeah, sort of like more artistically defined, kind of more like comfortable. It feels very confident.
That's what I think that's true. Because I mean, I like the art style. For me, it really looked like, yo, you know, these last few Batman Arkham games are just dark and rainy and just you don't even are just nighttime only.
Yeah.
We're in a new setting, Metropolis, and you're the Suicide Squad, and you have to kill the Justice League
And Brainiac.
And Brainiac. Don't even people. I mean,
you gotta kill Space Ultron.
Yeah, you gotta kill Space Ultron. I kind of like that. It's just so cool. I don't know why it's something like that. When they first showed the teaser trailer and they showed like the little Brainiac ship, I was like, they showed the Brainiac ship, and I was like, what the hell? So they're gonna fight Brainiac, and then as the trailer progressed, you see the squad. They're all kicking ass. And then Superman shows up. The first actual snippet, the first sort of image they revealed before the trailer came out, they had a shot of Superman behind, like a back shot of him, and his eyes were glowing purple and everything. And people were like, is Superman, you know, is this Bizarro? Is this like their own take on Superman's heat vision? But people were like, hey, what if he's kind of mind controlled? And that theory paid off because they showed that Brainiac ship and the end of the trailer when they're all like, hey, yo, it's Superman. It's like, yo, it's Superman and all that. But then they show him killing that pilot, and that brothers just became dust. I was like, oh shit. I mean, wow. Like, yeah, man. That's just it looks fun.
There is a lot of evil Superman out there nowadays. I mean, we got the Injustice movie, we got Homelander, we got Omni-Man. It's like, what's up with all these evil Superman?
I like how they can't even get Superman right. Like, the quintessential thing about Superman is he's a good person. And the fact that every Superman story is like, what do we do that actually makes him cool? Let's make him the opposite of what the character actually is. Do you hear yourselves right now?
Superman broke General Zod's neck at the end of the movie. What if Superman was just a cynical ass and he doesn't care about anyone except for Lois Lane? Lois Lane is the only thing on earth he cares about. Zack Snyder, ladies and gentlemen, Zack Snyder. That's what this channel is now. It's just a ripping on Zack Snyder.
I mean, I ain't gonna go that far, but that's all Toby's doing. So
yeah, we're gonna get killed by the Snyder fans.
I mean, we'll get the hate. No doubt about that. But yeah. Overall, when I first saw the trailer, I'm just impressed at the visuals. I like the graphics, man. For a next-gen title, this looks so smooth. I like the I'm just in awe, man. I mean, do you have any thoughts on the graphics as well?
Yeah, the graphics look pretty good, but I don't think that's enough to sell me on a game.
Dude, it's a next-gen title, bro. I think it looks kind of flawless here. I mean, my personal opinion, when this is with a different game, and they first announced Spider-Man Miles Morales, that was cinematic. Sure, there were some snippets of in-game stuff, but I felt like I was still hooked on that as well. To me, I kind of get that similar feeling here, where I know I'm not getting gameplay. I'm at least being shown what the actual game is gonna look like when it performs in that next-gen title, like my next-gen console, such as the PS5 or Xbox Series X. I at least get a sense of how the game will look like in-game, basically, which I think I really love.
Just remember, though, Death Stranding's trailer had good graphics. Look at how that game turned out.
I didn't really give a shit about that game.
What do you think of the Suicide Squad roster?
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I don't have any like kind of problems with it. I feel like the reason why they've gone for this group is one, synergy, because they got King Shark there. Another thing also, and I don't want to be controversial. You know, they're going Deadshot being African American, even though in the previous Arkham games, Deadshot was a white person, and I don't want to be racist or anything. But they're kind of chiming off of that whole Will Smith Deadshot thing because Will Smith was Deadshot, and you know they're trying to pop off that sort of synergy and all that. But I kind of like the roster. I like the fact that from the previous trailer and from this trailer, we kind of get a sense of how they'll play. Like we see in the earlier snippets, Harley Quinn has like a grappling gun. Deadshot, you know, I really want to see how the gameplay is because this seems like more of like a shooter.
I gotta be honest, I don't really like the roster, to be honest. I think with the Suicide Squad, for me, it's why I love the James Gunn Suicide Squad. It's why I love that so much. There's a tension that anyone could die, and there's also sort of these, you know, Z-list characters, and that's kind of something I prefer with my Suicide Squad Squad rosters, and that's what sort of appeals to me as a fan. So I don't really like the fact that these are the sort of the mainstream characters like, you know, Deadshot and Harley Quinn. I personally find Deadshot really boring. No one's killing Harley Quinn, and no one's killing Deadshot. King Shark is the funny animal character. We ain't gonna die. So Captain Boomerang, you're gonna die, man.
I feel like you kind of make a point. It's not like a whole, are they gonna get out of the skin of their teeth and whatnot? It's just like, you go, gonna goddamn well, these characters are gonna make it out, because it's kind of like, and that's true. You kind of, there is a sense of stakes when it comes to this. It kind of just seems like, hey, this is the ragtag group of people that are just gonna have to do this mission that just seems impossible and beyond immeasurable for their talents. But can they do it? Can they not? Can these group of misfits actually do it? Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of true. It's something I didn't notice until you brought it up. And you make a fair argument, man. You make a fair point, and I think, with the Suicide Squad story, it's like, yeah, sure, there's a mission, but it's actually how does the team make it out alive? So it's like, oh my god, like, oh, they like, this means business.
Yeah.
Like, this story actually has some sort, like, a level of consequence, like that type of thing. Yeah.
I would like to play as different characters, like have some new characters join up. I only really need one or two, but I don't just want to play as those same few characters throughout the whole thing, because, you know, it's like the Suicide Squad is such a diverse team of abilities, and if it's just the same 4 characters bickering between each other, I'm gonna get bored. Not really bored of the dynamic or the gameplay. I'm just gonna feel like you could have done more with it. You know, it's the Suicide Squad. You can literally put anyone on this team, and just to limit it to 4 people, I think is a bit disappointing. So I'd love to see. I think Peacemaker would work really well on the team.
I'm thinking for sure without that, I feel like this game could have more DLC down the line, more characters. Character I want to play as, if I can ever get the chance to play this game on a next-gen title, Rocksteady announces Bloodsport as a DLC character, because if you've seen the Suicide Squad, and if you know what Bloodsport's about, man, I'm telling you right now, Bloodsport is my favorite DC villain, because his power set is just off the chain. The man can just MacGyver weapons from his own suit. Like, his suit is a literal weapon, because he just has a bunch of weapons. He can literally combine pieces together like a bunch of Legos and make an awesome ass weapon. And I'm like, his gameplay would seriously work in a game like this, like outlandish, out there kind of art style, story direction, and all that.
The thing is, it's like, you know how when you're playing a video game, I think I'll use Doom Eternal as an example here. As you play it, you pick up new guns along the way, so that keeps the combat and the gameplay really fresh and exciting. Like, you master one gun, and so then you get a new gun, and you're like, oh, this gun is really cool. I wonder how I can integrate that into my, you know, my play style, and, you know, master this weapon like I've mastered my other ones. And I really hope that you do get moments like that in the Suicide Squad, which is why I think bringing in new characters to play as, you know, Peacemaker, Bloodsport, Polka Dot Man, I don't really mind. I'll bring in Ratcatcher. I'll control rats in a video game. I'll do it. As long as the gameplay doesn't grow stale, you know, and they don't waste the opportunity.
This is a weird comparison. I know it's going to be a weird comparison, but I feel like this is Suicide Squad or like DC video games, or just DC meets Sunset Overdrive, because I get that much of a vibe from this because of the whole bright setting and all that, which I think is a good change of pace, because all the Arkham games with Batman were just nighttime only. I'm glad they're doing a new change of pace, especially in a new setting of Metropolis.
I feel like, though, this is gonna really have to compete with the Guardians of the Galaxy game, because that looks like it's gonna have a very similar team dynamic. I think story-wise. Quick take here. I don't think the Guardians of the Galaxy game looks very good. We may make a video on that. We may not.
If we do get if one of us, which I mean, I don't know which one of us is, but if we actually do a gameplay thing on it, or one of us plays the game, then I don't know. The Guardians game, the Marvel games that aren't Insomniac related, have a weird art direction and just a weird story direction. But from what I've heard, Guardians games are actually pretty good. Like, people have been kind of praising like the little story bits, and I've even watched like the first sort of gameplay, because people are getting it early. As someone who's not played it but has seen gameplay, the game kind of looks alright.
You've got a very similar team dynamic, though. You know, you got Deadshot, a serious one. You got Captain Boomerang, who's like the scumbag, like Rocket Raccoon. You got the kind of the big meathead guy, which is Drax, and you also got King Shark, and then you got the goofball sort of protagonist character, you know, Harley Quinn and Peter Quill. So I think that people, you know, they've played the Guardians game, which I think comes out.
I think it's coming, dude. I think it's coming out like next week.
Oh, really?
I appreciate this. I think the Guardians game is actually coming out next week.
Damn. You know, if people are gonna get bored of that dynamic and they're gonna see it in the Suicide Squad and they'll go, well, I've done this. We've already seen this dynamic before. If I wanted this dynamic, I would have just gone and played that Guardians game more. But it hasn't come out yet. It could be ass, and that whole thing could be terrible. The Guardians game, I mean. I think overall, for me personally, the gameplay is really going to have to be good, really tight to keep me invested in the game, because personally, I don't really care about the characters in this one, and I'm not very interested in the dynamic.
But let's talk about the topic of discussion, the main topic of discussion being the Justice League, because this is our first ever look into the Arkhamverse / Rocksteady's Justice League. I really want to get, what are your thoughts? Like, hey, what do you think of Superman's design? What do you think of Wonder Woman's, Green Lanterns, and the Flashes? So, do you want to go in any particular order?
Superman, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman, I think will look really good. The only guy I don't quite like is the Flash. It's the goggles. Like, it makes sense if you're running at that speed, you want to protect your eyes, and I get that it's practical, but really?
I can feel you, man. I feel you on that. But with the other cast designs, I really like how it's surprisingly simple yet innovative. Like with the Superman design, people have noticed how it's the New 52 Superman logo. But I also like the fact that there's like these little sort of patterns or like this little weaving in his suit that you notice in like a certain frame of the trailer, and I was like, damn, that's like pretty good detail, and I like that. I mean, I was like pretty hyped when they showed Green Lantern and Wonder Woman. I was like, oh snap, like, all right.
I hope you fight like Aquaman,
Man,
and Martian Manhunter.
We didn't find Waterboy and all that, man.
Well, you probably could though, because you got King Shark who can swim underwater, so it could work. I hope it's not just 4 boss fights and then Brainiac.
You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be like these few first sets of boss fights, and then Brainiac will ultimately be the threat, or like the main threat, like the last final boss fight of the thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. You'll fight Brainiac at the end. My question is that if it's set in the Arkhamverse, then are we gonna get to fight Batman? Because I get that he's like sort of dead, but I really want to fight Batman.
They say he's dead.
No, he's not.
Do you really? Yeah, that's the thing. It's so hard. It's because of the fact like Batman is such a beloved character. Even like the Arkhamverse games are so beloved by the fans. It's still gonna be a hard sell on whether Batman's still alive or not. I know I disagreed with you earlier saying we ain't gonna get an Aquaman boss fight or even a Batman boss fight, but there might be surprises there like hiding for now, and ultimately when the game releases, it's gonna be like a whole like, oh snap, Batman and Aquaman are in the game. Like Batman just so happens to come back.
Yeah, I wonder if Batman was in the Justice League while he was doing all the Arkham stuff. Because if so, why didn't he just call Superman to go deal with Scarecrow?
That's like actually that's such a good point, because that's the thing I feel like they're gonna retcon so much. I feel like they're gonna retcon that. They're gonna be like, oh, Batman was in the Justice League for quite a while, but maybe sometime during Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, he met up with the Justice League, but then in Arkham Knight kind of left like the group.
But maybe it's like Superman shows up and he's like, hey Bruce, I hear that Scarecrow has taken over Gotham. I hear the Joker's taken over Arkham Asylum, and want to hand it Batman's like, I got it covered. Sure, you look like you're in a bit of trouble. I got it covered. Is that dynamic gonna work? Is that how it's gonna be? It just adds in a whole sort of contingencies and plot holes, like why didn't Batman just do this? So I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword bringing the Justice League into the Arkhamverse, because like, well, you could have done that.
I feel like they're gonna just pull like an Uncharted 4 retcon where they're just gonna ignore like, oh, this thing happened, but we just didn't mention it in the previous games prior, like that whole twist of like Nathan Drake just so happened to have a brother that he just didn't mention throughout like in 3 games.
Yeah.
So like I feel like they're gonna do a similar situation where it'll be like Batman was a part of the Justice League, but in the events of Arkham Knight, maybe he had like a kind of like falling out period where he kind of like quit for a bit.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't really call the Justice League, because maybe like because Batman is kind of also known for not being like a part of like not being a team player. He's more like, hey, I'll join you guys whenever, but I won't join you forever, like that kind of thing. I'm not gonna be hopping on. I'm not gonna come to the Watchtower every like few minutes. I'll come whenever I can. I mean, overall, I really kind of feel like while the designs, maybe some people don't like the designs because they're a bit too out there, I feel like the designs for each of the characters fit this aesthetic for this game, because this game looks like it's kind of trying to be a polar opposite of the Arkham games like Batman, where it's just dark, gritty, all night setting through and through. There's no like, and I just get Sunset Overdrive vibes from this because of how how the colors just pop and how really like comic bookish / like over the top and cartoonish. Everybody kind of looks just like a cartoon, really, and I just like that. But I think what I like about this is like it's made by Rocksteady, and Rocksteady's made all the previous Arkham games, and I hope that they can make some good gameplay out of this because they're really known for doing one of the best gameplay mechanics for Batman, which is combat. So I wonder if this gameplay, like the Suicide Squad, where we see a heavy influence on combat is gunplay, what are they going to do that's innovative, and how do they not make that stale or boring? Because with the Arkham games, I really like the combat where you're able to be fluid and go around the room while you're beating down on criminals, but you're also able to use new moves like, hey, I can stun my enemies with a batarang, I can stun my enemies with a smoke pellet and all that sort of stuff. So I wonder what they're going to do here with a title like Suicide Squad. How do you make a gameplay mechanic which you guys have not done before from my understanding? Maybe Rocksteady has done some sort of gameplay, has done a game where it considered the main sort of gameplay aspect. I wonder what they're going to do that's different and how they're able to make it innovative and not a very repetitive experience. Like, oh, do I just have to like go down, mow down some brainiac enemies and then I get my loot and that's about it? And like, you know, cycle through and through. I also want to know like how big is Metropolis, because I have to salute to Rocksteady. It's like the maps are big. Like, they give you a lot of range to go to. Like you can explore this side, that side. You're able to explore like everywhere. So they give you that kind of leeway and I like that so much. And this would be my final closing thoughts. And if you have any, Toby, just say your closing thoughts as well. But I like Metropolis. It looks cool. It just looks like the happy-go-lucky town that's just like under siege. I don't know why. I just kind of like that.
I don't get how it's so happy-go-lucky. They get threatened by like world-ending events every day. Like, I mean, that should be worse than Gotham. I mean, they've had way worse than earthquakes. That should be the shitty town that you don't want to live in.
Metropolis is just known for being like an occasional plane crash or something falling down from the sky, where Superman just so happens to catch it.
An occasional plane crash. That's not worth moving there. Oh yes, we've got a nice house, great view of the city, very safe for the occasional plane crash.
Hey man, I don't know. Superman saves a lot of flying shit from the air, okay? That's all I gotta say. But yeah, do you have any last closing thoughts, man, for this Suicide Squad game?
Not really. I mean, nothing that you haven't said. I agree with you. Yeah, I think I can't formulate a proper opinion on how I think the game is going to be without seeing more gameplay footage. But so far, I need to see more to be excited for it.
I agree with you. Yeah, that's fair, man. That's a fair critique. So, I mean, yeah, I think that closes it off. Always, thank you guys so much again for supporting our channel. It's you guys that really make us continue what we like to do and continue to do the content we love. And we're glad that you guys love the content we do here as well. If you don't know already, please like, subscribe, as this will help with the growth of our channel. If you see a bell icon near the subscribe button, please click that, as this will immediately notify you of our videos when they are up on your subscriptions. Thank you guys as always, and take care.